Guys, this podcast is brought to you by our friends at Wrestling Collector Shop. Make sure when you need to add new figures to your FigFed lineup, you head over to WrestlingCollectorShop.com.
Started by collectors for collectors around the globe, Wrestling Collector Shop has been serving fans the latest and greatest in wrestling action figures since 2002. Whether you're looking for basics, elites, or ultimates, Wrestling Collector Shop should be your first stop the next time you're looking for wrestling figures.
So make sure to go to WrestlingCollectorShop.com and use promo code Swoggle to save yourself 10% on your entire order. That's WrestlingCollectorShop.com. Use promo code Swoggle and save yourself 10% on the newest and greatest wrestling figures out there.
That's more than 9%. Welcome to the State of Affairs, a podcast where each week we debate a different topic in pop culture, food, music, movies, and more. I'm Captain Joe Shoes. You may know me from the side of your milk carton.
And I'm Dylan Postl. You might know me from WrestleMania 24, Leprechaun Origins, Muppets Most Wanted, but most importantly, the Going Postl podcast. And the premise of this show is simple. Each host will take their turn making their argument about that week's topic. We'll start with opening arguments, and after that, the real debate begins. The goal of this is to do it with as little interruptions as possible.
Now, will that happen? Probably not. But either way, let's get into it, Dylan. Today's topic is wrestling, and specifically, what makes the best wrestling entrance theme songs. Now, we're each going to get a chance to go back and forth and give our opinions on what actually makes a great wrestling entrance theme song. And I'm going to let you kick off today's festivities, Dylan.
So I think what makes a good theme song is it introduces that wrestler. It introduces that character. It's not some generic just song per se. There's good wrestling theme songs and there's bad wrestling theme songs. But I feel like the minute that theme hits, you're going to know who the person is. Joe, you are not going to be able to argue my first pick, Legion of Doom, What a Rush. There is no argument whatsoever that there is a more of a top 5 theme that you immediately, when it hits, you know who it's representing. The LOD pop is because of the theme song. It's not because of Hawk and Animal getting ring announced. If they were getting ring announced to no music, they would get a reaction. If they hear the what a rush, no matter what place they're in, what city they're in, what arena they're in, what company they're in. If What a Rush hits, the place is going bananas. Correct? Just a yes or no.
I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. Because while I agree with the fact that the What a Rush makes for a perfect intro soundbite where you cannot even question who is coming out. Correct. The fact is, you brought up the LOD pop, and my friend, that Road Warrior pop did not start with What a Rush. That started in the territories, and that started with Black Sabbath's Iron Man. And it was that big riff from the beginning, that Iron Man. That's where it started. So to sit here and claim that, What a Rush is the prototypical example of what makes it all matter.
Old wrestling doesn't matter. You know this. Old wrestling is a thing of the past. Are you still working on your iMac? No, you aren't, sir. No, you aren't. You aren't working on that anymore. We are on MacBook Pros.
What happened to my time uninterrupted? You're going to start already? Because, Dylan, those of us who choose to ignore history are doomed to repeat it.
It's not happening. Go ahead. What is your starter? What is your starter?
I'm just saying, what makes a good thing. I know, I'm giving you.
Blow my list away from the beginning. Let's go. What is it?
You made a tactical error. You thought you were coming in hot.
I did.
You thought you were coming in hot and you got murked.
If you use the goddamn murked again, like you are some Call of Duty player, Joe, go ahead. I admit I was incorrect because I don't care about old wrestling. I don't. I was incorrect with my Road Warrior pop statement when it started with What a Rush, but it does not overshadow the fact that What a Rush, immediately you know who it is, and it's a hell of a theme song. Top 5, that is my number 5.
I'm agreeing with that. I think that is a good example of a good theme song. I'm just saying there is more detail that goes beyond that. But I think we can agree that what makes a good theme song is that the song becomes instantly recognizable and a reflection of the person who is coming out to it.
I know what's coming, and it's going to piss me off.
And to give you, I mean, we've had the sound effects, we've had people's catchphrases, but there has been nothing in the history of the business quite like She Looks Good to Me by Eve Torres, which is my favorite wrestling entrance theme of all time.
You're starting with your number 1?
I'm just saying this is my example of a great, phenomenal wrestling theme because it's not just a wrestling theme song. You could take that out to the club. You could put that on in the car. There is nothing like jamming down the street where the song transcends even what it was meant for and becomes a bippity bop everywhere you go. And there are very few songs that can do that.
Not interrupting. Am I able to go?
Yeah. Go ahead.
When you said the theme song, I literally thought you were talking and messing up Billy and Chuck's, the name of Billy and Chuck's song. No one knows Eve Torres's song. I worked there. I was on the shows with her when she would have used said song. That is how much staying power that song has. Zero, bro. Zero
phenomenal
staying power.
Entrance theme.
And then what you said. You want to use things against each other? You want to call each other out? Here it is. You said it's a good wrestling theme. And then you go on your high horse and you go, I could play it at the club. I could play it. No, that's not what it's meant for. It is meant as a
Is that what I sound like?
Theme song. Joe, this is my time to rant for a second. You said it is a wrestling theme. What makes a wrestling theme? Not a bippity bop at the club. No. I'm not drinking Zima to LOD's music because I want to wrestle to LOD's music. You are completely off base with the reasoning for that song. Very simple.
It's a great wrestling theme. It's a perfect reflection of the character.
No one knows the song. No one knows the song.
Everyone knows Eve Torres. Isn't she in the Hall of Fame? I don't know if she is. She probably is. They've had to fill some spots.
Does not matter. No one knows that song. If we are going round 1, I guarantee I won round 1. I guarantee I won round 1. And because of that, Joe, go ahead.
You didn't even pick the right song.
Huh?
You didn't even pick the right Road Warrior song.
Bullshit. I picked What a Rush. That's the one I like. That's the good theme song. Not your bullshit, which sounds exactly, I guarantee, it sounds like Kelly's music. It sounds like Caitlin's music. It sounds like Oksana's music. I guarantee your shitty pick sounds like all of their musics that you could go and bippity bop at the club, as you said. It's bullshit.
That's just rude because I have a song in my heart. I like to move, I like to groove, and I like pretty girls. And you know what? When that song comes on, all of a sudden, you know what I am? Invested in the show because I got a great song, I got a pretty girl, and
hold on. You could put that behind any VH1 reality show, that song, and that would work for that show.
That's what WCW music was for.
This isn't.
I could turn on VH1. I love the 80s and hear Billy Kidman's music.
No. I said love reality shows. You could put that as a theme song for any of those shows. If I Love New York, put that song as it. I guarantee it would work. I guarantee it. You're not putting What a Rush, an absolute banger, as the kids say, of a wrestling song. You're not putting that behind I Love New York. No, sir. So go ahead. Go ahead. I'll give you round two. I will give you round two.
Okay. Stone Cold Steve Austin. But not the regular Stone Cold Steve Austin song that we all know and love. Now, obviously, the glass break-in, the place comes unglued. We all recognize that. It's one of the great Pavlov's dog cues of wrestling music history, right? We hear the glass, we all fucking shit our pants. But when they came out with that Stone Cold Rock CD or whatever it was, where we got the Disturbed song.
I got it on my list.
Now, here's the thing with that. I liked it even more because I got the lyrics wrong. And the song I heard for years was, like, step up, and then it was like, a black man is living inside you. And I was like, a black man is living inside Stone Cold.
I have it literally
that's
on my
ferocious.
List. Oh, I got it on my list. Yep.
For years, I thought the lyrics were a black man is living inside you. And I was like, but damn, like, I don't even get it. Like, what does this have to do with Stone Cold? I mean, it pops, but I just don't get it.
We're going to agree on that one, and it makes me happy. We're getting a little bit of levity in this episode. It's not going to happen much on this podcast. I promise you it is not. But my thoughts with that is, man, I mean, you will not agree with this. You're thinking completely different, I'm sure. That song, again, we talk about if I play that at the gym, I am getting pumped up. I am getting pumped up, no matter what. If I'm backstage and that song hits, Austin, if I'm Stone Cold, I am getting pumped up. I'm pretty sure he likes the Disturbed version way more than the regular version. I completely agree with you, Joe. You are correct in that pick.
Now, the thing, too, with this song is, and this really, I don't think has to do with the majority of the songs, but because Stone Cold was such a big star and had such a long run and different iterations, and we even had different versions of the music at times, with Stone Cold, that Alliance Invasion era represents my favorite kind of Stone Cold, where he's doing the comedy bits with Kurt Angle. Yep. He's doing that group shot with The Undertaker where Vince is talking and Stone Cold turns around and they're breathing down our necks.
And he's just trying to get him to break the whole time to break. Yeah.
Like, I loved that era of Stone Cold because even when Stone Cold first got red hot, I was like the 16-year-old kid who was like, all he does is kick and punch. Where's the guy doing the classic where's Dean Malenko? Like, I was at that age at that time. I was that kid. So, but like now I go back and watch Stone Cold and I'm like, I'm sorry for just not enjoying the show, Stone Cold. Like, that's on me. That's a Captain Joe Shoes problem.
I thought you were going to really piss me off. I really, really did. And thought you were going with WWF The Music Volume 2. I believe it's maybe 3. I forget. But where it starts off with
you are completely pathetic.
If you would have said it, I would have shut my computer down. I promise you. I've shut my computer down. I have a Fig Fed as a kid, and I'm playing the music on the CDs, which I guarantee is the only reason they put those CDs out in all reality. It's just, when you did that, you ruined Fig Feds. You ruined so many fig feds by putting the "You Are Completely Pathetic" in there.
I agree with that. I hated when, like, my first WWE The Music album was part 4. I believe it starts with Jericho. So there's really not a lot.
That's not the green. Is that the green one?
The green one, the neon green
I
one.
loved the green one. I think
That
the
was
green
awesome.
one's probably my favorite too.
The green one was
Is the green one Christian's song?
the Blood Brother one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my
song
song
that none of us knew Christian had until the album
Hell yeah.
came out.
That was my baby. Whoever was the top baby face in my fig fed, that was always their song. It was awesome. That's my favorite Christian song. Easily my favorite Christian.
No, so when Christian first turned on Edge, there's the Christian at last. But there's a different version of the guitar playing after that bit.
Yep.
That's a lot more fun in the beginning. And it's almost like too happy and almost like a caricature where you're like, oh, this guy's not as serious. I love that version.
I don't think without the pyro that would have as much impact on me. That was the first rain pyro.
That was real good.
The rain pyro. And I love rain pyro is the best pyro out there. That's another thing. Yeah. George, put it on the list, man. I will debate pyro with this man all
We don't
day.
have to do that because there's an absolute number one answer, and it's Batista. And we're both going to say Batista. Batista's the man. We love Batista. End of story, end of every episode.
Batista's top 5. You know what? We agreed on there. We agreed on the Disturbed version. So now you get to go again.
So I'm going to pick probably one you forgot. My double main man, Zach Gowen, with Out of My Way. That song was hyped because I didn't care about this guy, but I'm like, this guy has a song that's about overcoming odds, and he's got one leg, so that's what he's dedicated his life to doing, and I'm here for it. I used to get hyped to watch Zach Gowen come out, and then he's going to fight Matt Hardy for the U.S. title, and I'd be like, you go ahead and do it, Zach. You can do it. And this song perfectly captured Zach Gowen, got me hyped up, got me cheering behind him. What is it? No Mercy 2003. I'm for it, baby. I'm there. I'm in the crowd. I'm clapping for you.
That's what you're going to come with on the best wrestling themes of all time. You're going Eve Torres, Stone Cold Disturbed version I'm giving you. And then Zach Gowen?
Yeah.
Zach Gowen, again, I go to, if you played me that song, there is zero chance I know what it is. Zero chance I know what it is.
Nobody's gonna stand in my way. Give it up, son. I'm doing this my way. Come on.
That's what it is?
Know that. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard Zach Gowen's theme song in my life. After this show...
Do you even watch wrestling?
During that time, I was grounded a lot. Zach Gowen era, I was grounded. That was one of the eras I was grounded a lot for. I'm not going to lie. I'm not. All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. He wants to go Zach Gowen. Get out of my way. Jeff Hardy, no more words. You aren't beating me. You could come at me with pretty much any song. You are not beating that one. Very simple. It's his singles music. It's the music that really put him to the next level. It has that Hardy Boys feel to it, but yet it goes into those awesome, awesome lyrics. And man, no matter what, you're never going to boo that song ever. There's no beating it. The rest of my list, literally, the next 2 on my list, I don't know if they're better than that song. I don't.
Well,
No More Words is unbeatable. We're going to put a poll up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to put a poll up. And I'm not going to comment on it, fighting for my case. And I expect the captain to not comment to sway the votes either. We're going to simply put a poll up. This round, I guarantee this round is 99-1. If not 100-0.
Here's the issue with this song.
There's no issue.
There's plenty of issue.
Go ahead.
The issue is that it could be any song. When it comes to Jeff Hardy, it's not about the song. It's about the energy. It's about the dance. It's about the jazz hands, the spirit fingers.
It starts with that beat.
You can bring the volume down on Jeff Hardy's entrance and put absolutely any song that's ever been created in history. Never gonna give you up. And Jeff Hardy just doing his hand thing. And people will be like, goddamn right, Jeff Hardy. You absolutely go get that Undertaker or whoever you're fighting today.
You are correct. But again, wrestling theme songs that span time. It ain't fucking Zach Gowen. It ain't Zach Gowen's song.
That Jeff Hardy song does not live for. I really don't agree with that one because it can be any song. It can be any song.
No. You cannot say that. You cannot say that. His last.
I did say that.
You did, but it's dumb.
So I obviously can.
His last WWE run, he was not using it. People demanded it on social media because they wanted to hear it. I'm assuming they knew Jeff was going away eventually again, and they demanded to hear it again. I guarantee, not if, but when he returns to WWE, that song will play if he's singles. That song, because people love it so much to this day.
I don't even think that's his most iconic song.
No, it's tags. Correct.
Yeah.
But this to me is a top 5 wrestling theme, period.
Well, thankfully, I will disagree with that one. I think there are many great themes in the history of wrestling. That wouldn't make my list, but I'll tell you what does, Dylan.
This is gonna be, I know.
Oh, way, oh, oh, way, oh. David Otunga, it's all about me. It's all about the power. That is how you do wrestling theme music. There was this period of wrestling where dudes were getting banger theme songs and were barely featured on TV, but then you'd hear it and you'd be like, my God, I need this gentleman and his coffee cup on my TV all of the times just so I can hear this theme song. It is stupendous.
My turn to argue?
Go ahead. How do you argue with that?
I don't. I do agree that I do agree. When it was on house shows, when he was on TV here and there, I loved the song. When it comes up on my Spotify, Dylan Postl, big Spotify guy now, I enjoy it. I enjoy it in the car. I do not enjoy it. It's a skipple in the gym. It does not hype me up. It makes me happy. It makes me happy. Like exactly what you said. You had Alex Riley with what is argued to be one of the most underrated. Is that your number one?
That's my next one.
Okay. I'm going to argue that too. I'm very mad at myself for David Otunga, I will give you a top 25. Not a top 5. Not a top 5. That's not getting me hyped up at who this person is. That's not going, oh man, I know who this song is. It's David Otunga. No. Nope. Not. It is not. Like, probably, besides the glass breaking, Joe, probably the most name-worthy or like represent, when you think reflective, maybe the word is. I'm not sure. I'm not good with words. What did you say?
Recognizable.
Yeah, but like to the person. Triple H is The Game. You will not argue that song. You will not argue that song. That it's one of the top 5 wrestling themes of all time.
You like the game better than my time?
This is, I gave you your time. I sat back and I crossed my arms. And I let you go on your coffee cup rant.
He loved coffee, David Otunga.
I get it. The game
He's a lawyer.
Is easily top 5 most recognizable with the person themes of all time. You knew what you were getting the minute that first hit. That first. You didn't need any duggas. It was just the That's all you needed, and you still need to this day to get a reaction, whether it's positive or negative, on that character. Guys, once again, we'll put the poll up. This will be a 95-5 at most.
I disagree with this one too. Once again, I don't even think that's Triple H's best theme.
I don't think it's his best theme. I think it's one of the best musics of all time. I like the one before it.
My Time, when My Time came out, when he turned into that big heel, I'm going to go for the main event now.
100%.
The way it represented that new character and the fact that you took him seriously as a main eventer, probably for the first time ever at that point, and that very initial, and then it was like,
you are correct.
They had the lyrics in the song where it felt like it was for the smart marks, because Triple H was becoming the smart mark guy for that year of 2000. You let the music keep playing, Mr. Dunn. Like, oh my God, he said Mr. Dunn is the producer. Did you know that? Because I was that guy. I'd be like, oh, he's ref Kevin Dunn. He's a guy no one knows. He's a producer. I know this. I'm a big wrestling guy.
You are not wrong with that statement. But to me, again, longevity-wise, all of that, I feel that music holds up and stands the test of time. Like, I put it as number 2 for a reason. It is my number 2 for a reason. That is the song.
So I was going to say Alex Riley next, but since you brought that up, I'll skip it, although it's a great song.
Man, Hawkins brings it up all the time.
Say it to my face.
It was way better than it should be for who it was for. Like, in all reality, that should have been
for what Alex Riley ended up. But we all thought at that point Alex Riley was going to be WWE champion one day.
That song could have been for like a babyface Randy Orton. That's how cool that song was.
It could have been. That's how
that song was. It could have been a secondary Jeff Hardy song. Like,
speaking of him, because you brought him up.
Okay.
Randy Orton's song, the I Hear Voice, iconic now. But at the time, I couldn't warm up. I was like, what are we even doing here?
I agree. His song before that was so much better. So much better. Yep. Like, what were you going to say, though? What was the other one you were going to bring up?
So I was going to go with, and whenever you do these kind of lists, right, we all kind of default to the old ones, right? Oh, we all know Real American. We all know the Honky Tonk Man, the Big Boss Man, Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, Sexy Boy. I like the Sensational Sherry version of it just because I'm old, and that's the version I first remember. You know, when Shawn first turned into that character and Sherry was singing it, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool that Sherry's singing this. But my next one is one of my all-time favorite tag teams. This wrestler, one of the wrestlers in this team, is in my top 5 favorite wrestler list of all time. The Fabulous Rougeau Brothers, All-American Boys. From Montreal to Memphis, parlez-vous français? Tell all the girls the Rougeau's on the way. The best. I love the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers. They were immigrants. They came all the way from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and they wanted to show how much they loved their new home of the United States. And they brought their little flags, and they had the fleur-de-lis on their tights, which I thought was very fashionable. And they would come out and wave the flag. People loved them. They ate up the Rougeaus with a spoon. And a lot of it has to do with Jacques Rougeau singing that music. You talk about a voice like velvet. Jacques Rougeau, from that to I'm the Mountie, I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm strong. What a voice. What a voice.
I fully agree. For that time period, that song was incredible. It was a very character-y song. It was representative of the time. I enjoy that song as their music. But if you are going to come on this podcast that we take very seriously, and you are going to use the fabulous Rougeau's, easy for me to say, theme song as a top 5 music, you, sir, need to reevaluate your life. You need to. You're going to use that in an argument, and you only get 5. You only get 5. 5, as Biggie
Says
Langston
who?
would say.
Wrestling's been around for 100 years. I could use 100 songs.
But you only get 5. And these are your
Well,
top.
the Rougeau's.
These are your top 5. And then I'm going to come back with 2 words. Ultimate Warrior. And now, Joe, when I say Ultimate Warrior, 2 things come to mind. Face paint and the Dugga Duggas. Very simply, nothing beats the Ultimate Warrior's theme song as a more characteristic hype joint. Nothing beats it. When that song hits, you instantly want to stand up, whether you are in your car, whether you're at the gym, whether you're sitting on your couch, you instantly feel yourself rise out of your seat because you know how hyped of a song that is. There is no better. Real American can screw off. I hate the song. I despise the song. I've always thought it was awful, especially compared to the Ultimate Warrior's theme song.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with the
Can't.
coolness and the awesomeness of the Ultimate Warrior song. It certainly was.
There's
and
no
it's probably just as much responsible for the success of the Ultimate Warrior as anything, right? It's probably one of the big factors in him
I think
being as popular as he was.
You talked earlier about, Jeff Hardy come out to the Rickroll theme. Ultimate Warrior came out to the Rickroll theme. Isn't that like it's not the Ultimate Warrior? So I think it's definitely. I think it is. I think Shoes. I truly think all of the parts that make up Warrior, if one of them was taken away, let's say face paint taken away, doesn't work. Tassels and gear taken away, changed, doesn't work. Think about when he wore that singlet, the bodysuit. How
I agree. No, I agree.
How dog shit. Now, the entrance and the intensity of his matches that everyone shits on. If it's not that, Warrior goes away. It's not the same presentation. You know what I mean? So all of those things, definitely. I truly feel it. This just came to mind, man. And I've never thought of this. I truly feel he's the only person, and this might not be a good thing, he's the only person where if he didn't have all of those things, he wouldn't have been successful. He needed every bit of that. Stone Cold, you take a bit of the look away, maybe he's the same person. Hogan, still successful when he turned to the black, the NWO Black and changed his theme. Still successful, not as, but still successful. Triple H.
I don't know. I mean, you can argue that NWO Hollywood Hogan was just as successful, if not more. A different era. You're comparing between eras now. Different TV, different pay-per-view models.
Yeah, but when you say Hulk Hogan, when you say Hulk Hogan, I would think of red and yellow. 5. What look comes up in anyone's head? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think of like. I mean, let's say Undertaker. Undertaker was successful as American Badass for that long time. He's very successful as American Badass. And I liked it more, to be honest. But Warrior, I think he's the only wrestler where if you take one bit of that character away, I think it wouldn't work. And that's why I feel this theme is incredible.
And I think one of the big distinctions you can make between the Warrior and guys like Hogan or Undertaker who would evolve their characters at different points. Whereas if the Warrior were to change anything, you would say, I wish he would just go back and do what he used to do. When the Undertaker would do something different, like American Badass, Booger Red, You Done It Now. Also a great song. When he would do that, you wouldn't dislike it. Now, I wasn't a real big Undertaker guy anyway, but he was always fine. When he did the American Badass, I think that might be my favorite iteration of the Undertaker because he felt more relatable. And I'm someone who loves gimmicks and cartoons and all that. Guy. Yeah, it's just, and not that I was a scared child at the first viewing of the Undertaker. I knew he was, he's big, he's gonna beat people up. It's just I found it very hard to get behind that someone could beat him. Just that was the thing with me. Whereas when he becomes American Badass, it's not that people are like, oh, this sucks, we want old Undertaker, but it gave them breathing room where they were able to miss the old Undertaker for a while. That way, when he does go back to it, what's old is new again.
Yep.
And that's the same thing with Hogan. We were so sick of red and yellow Hogan by 95 that when he finally turns heel and he goes into Hollywood and we get the NWO and he has a nice, decent sized run as Hollywood Hulk Hogan, but then it puts that breathing room in between where now you're able to say, you've gotten a couple years older, the nostalgia builds up. Man, I wish I could just hear Real American again. Exactly. And it all comes to, kind of the volcano point over at WrestleMania X8 by the point where, everyone in Toronto is cheering Hogan.
I was just talking to Landon about that. I took Landon to SmackDown and we talked about, I said, man, you and I need to watch WrestleMania 18 for the flip. Just the craziness of that, the flip of heel and babyface. I said the only other time I can remember it happening before that is Rock and Brett, or Austin. Sorry, Austin and Brett.
Yeah, Austin Brett.
Yeah. But this was a crazy time because it was the first time that a crowd distinctively made a match that I remember. They made that match.
I agree with that, and you also need Landon to watch that because if you watch the whole show right on the camera side, and it'll be on the top right hand. Near the top right-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see a sign throughout the entire evening that says L shoes equals no friends. And that is one of my best friends in the world who went to WrestleMania and felt the need to bring a sign to announce to people that I had no friends.
Shoes. Let's, you know what? Let's finish the episode. Let's get to a close here. What was your top 5?
So I wrote down Eve Torres, Stone Cold Steve Austin's Disturbed music, Zach Gowen's Out of My Way. I believe the band's name is Seether, if I'm getting that correct. Why are you laughing? What are we doing here?
It was a decent sized band, Shoes.
Yes. They did that song. They did Zach Gowen's theme song. Look it up. Look it up now. Use your portly little fingers and look it up right now.
My heart hurts. I had to do the rock thing on my left arm to make sure I was okay.
And then I had David Otunga, All About Me, All About the Power, and of course, the fabulous Rougeau brothers.
There is no debate here, ladies and gentlemen, listeners of this wonderful pod. There is no debate. When you put that list up against Legion of Doom's What a Rush, Stone Cold's Disturbed version, Jeff Hardy, No More Words, Triple H's The Game by Motorhead, and then the Ultimate Warriors theme. There is zero debate who wins this week. Zero. And I mean zero. If you vote against my list, if we put a poll up and you vote against my list compared to him, you're doing it out of spite and you're doing it to try to get over with Shoes. I don't care about getting over with Shoes. My list destroys his. 100 to 0. My list destroys his. 100-0. If this is less than 85% to 15%, it's bullshit. Blatantly. My list beats his. That is my closing statement. I don't need any more of a closing statement besides when you go about wrestling themes and iconic wrestling themes that just get you pumped up for pro wrestling. We're not talking bippity bop in the club bullshit, as he said. Pro wrestling theme songs, my list is unbeatable compared to his. Shoes, your closing argument?
Friends, countrymen, people of planet Earth. For the entirety of the time that we have all enjoyed the art of professional wrestling, pundits have come across the globe and stated the same songs over and over and over. And whenever we talk about the great songs, it's the same ones over and over. And I, Captain Joe Shoes, come to you today on the State of Affairs podcast, and I give to you something new. I give to you a vision for the future, a vision of the recent past, a vision that must be remembered, because let me tell you something, friends, wrestling did happen after 1992. Wrestling has existed in a post new generation world, and I am here to remember it and celebrate it, and the theme songs that made our adolescence and our young adulthood great. My friends, if you vote against Eve Torres, you vote against progress. If you vote against David Otunga, you vote against the future and what could be. Do not do that. Do not make that mistake by siding with this angry Eric Cartman impersonator next to me. Didn't even have the budget to put on the hat. My friends, today you vote with me because I bring to you the songs that need to be celebrated as great wrestling themes that don't get the celebration that they're due. Thank you. God bless. God bless wrestling.
All right. Going to do it for this episode of State of Affairs. This is very, very hard to do a closing statement without arguing back. That was his close, and this is the rules. These are the rules that are put forth in front of us. Guys, make sure to follow us on all social medias so you can let us know your thoughts on today's episode. At Affairs Pod. And make sure to follow me at Dylan Postl on all forms of social media. That's at Affairs Pod on all forms. I'm at Dylan Postl on all forms of social media. Shoes, tell them about it.
I am everywhere on social media at The Joe Shoes, and of course, youtube.com/Joe Shoes, and my other podcast every Thursday, the Car Jomez podcast, a pop culture smorgasbord brought to you everywhere you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe and rate this podcast, The State of Affairs, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever it is that you listen to your podcast. Also, if you'd like to advertise with us, you can reach out to us at affairspodcast@gmail.com. I told you weren't going to guess my songs.